A lot of you have reached out to me and wanted to understand a little bit more about my journey and how I got rid of Eustachian Tube Dysfunction. Most of the time, I tell you the same thing. It has a lot to do with stress, has a lot to do with your well-being. Now, I know that sounds like almost like take 2 pills and see you back in a week, but it's almost that simple. And when I mean simple, I don't mean it in an insensitive way. I mean it that a lot of the times when it comes to this condition and how long it lasts and how impactful it is, I'm not going to say it's all strictly up to us, but a lot of it is really up to us. And I just want to say that because I've been through it. 3 years of suffering. And yes, I've tried numerous of things, as many of you have out there have done as well. But you're still trying to figure out, why is this still making me miserable? A lot of you are reaching out in tears and distraught and trying to almost at your last on your last leg, trying to figure out, what can I do next? Who can I see? I've seen every doctor. And like I said, stress is one of the big causes of why we have this, or why you feel this condition, why we all had to go through this. And when you start to become more aware that stress is what's ruling this condition, you start to get a better hand on it. Now, it's not going to give you all the answers of what to do, but it's going to give you a better idea of what needs to be done, in a sense that a lot of it is in our hands. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about when I started to feel better and how I got a hand on my stress. It was baby steps. It was not really trying to be 100%, not trying to be 100% healed. It was taking little steps at a time. When I start to almost slow my mind down to not trying to be healed in one day, or within an hour, or within a week, I started to slowly see the growth and feeling better. Like, let me give you an example. It was hard to take out of town trips in the car, going on the freeway. I would always feel a little out of sorts. My ears would be popping and making sounds, and it would just be hard to concentrate on the road. Well, there was one time where I got in the car and I was able to drive 2, 3 hours away and I didn't feel anything. This is something to celebrate. And I want all of you to start taking these gradual celebrations and really owning it. Don't look at it as that it's not 100% yet. Look at it as like that's something to celebrate. I just went out of town, something I couldn't do 3 weeks ago, or a month ago, or a year ago, and I just did it. Your body is telling you slowly, it's making strides. And even when you start feeling better and you start seeing the light a little bit, start journaling things that you did that day, things that you thought about that made you feel better. It's really going to come down to how you do things, when you do things, and what made you feel better when you did those things. And again, I know I sound like a broken record. I sound like a broken record saying I sound like a broken record. But when you go into the doctor and you tell them I have you're not going to say I have Eustachian tube dysfunction. You're just going to tell them my ears are clogged and it's been clogged for 3 weeks. And they're going to do a series of tests, and ultimately the diagnosis on your explanation of benefits, your medical records, are going to say Eustachian tube dysfunction. But then you're going to say, so then what do I do? What is it? Well, they're going to say it's an allergy. Well, guess what? When you deal with allergies, you don't hear about stress relief. You don't hear about stress relievers and how to get rid of stress. You just hear about taking things and avoiding things. This is the major problem of this condition, is that you're not being led in the right direction. It's ultimately up to us as well, and to own or try to figure out what we have and try to journal and do those things. But we need to be guided in some way, shape, or form. And this is where the misguidance of this condition is really at the beginning. The beginning is everything. And if you don't start right at the beginning, how are you going to have a smooth course to the end? So this is why I'm here, hoping that some of you stumbled across my videos and was able to kind of figure out exactly what you have. And now you're here within only a couple days, and I can help guide you in the right direction. It's all about stress relief. It's all about finding ways to celebrate the mini moments. That is all going to be, that's going to be in comparison to what you were the day before. Were you better? You really have to congratulate yourself. Stop beating yourself up. This is really going to be something. It's a mental approach to figuring this out. It's unbelievable how much the ear and the brain and the mind and the whole nervous system is connected together. When you start to look at big picture and how far you are away, you start to realize the clogging gets harder and stronger, starts to become more hard to just get rid of, to shake off. So this video is to remind all of you that stress is probably the number one thing that's causing it and keeping it. I shouldn't say causing it, but it's the number one thing that's holding you back from healing. The cause can be a number of things, and that's what you hear, and that's what you see on Google. When you Google Eustachian Tube Dysfunction, you see a number of causes. But what's keeping it around is a question, and that's what doctors don't tell you a lot about, is what is keeping this around. As a week ago, I released a video about nasal sprays. Another identifier of what's keeping it around. Stress is the number one thing that's keeping this condition from getting away from you. I was in Hawaii, one of the most amazing places to travel, and I had this condition, and I couldn't get my mind off of this condition. I have the ocean nearby, I have the great weather, cool breeze, great people, great food, and couldn't enjoy myself because I was dealing with this condition. So you can't tell me that stress isn't what's causing this condition to stick around, because if you were in a great place as I was at that moment of time and still be feeling under the weather and stressing about it, it almost tells you what's causing it, what's keeping it around at the same time. So I really want a lot of you to just take a minute and think about where you are and celebrate the little things. Even just getting out of bed with no symptoms for a couple hours, 5 hours of no symptoms, even a day of no symptoms. Congratulate yourself, because your brain, your body, and the whole mind and the central nervous system is all working together. And if you're speaking good things to yourself and remembering good things and keeping your mind on a good positive spectrum, you'll see that the sensations of the clogging, the imbalance, all these things slowly diminish. Alrighty, my wellness people, I hope this video was very helpful for you. If it was, take time to subscribe to the channel. I try to bring content as often as possible. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and step out of the Jaye Wellness Studio and leave you in good hands with this video. Like anything else, folks, we are here to simply go back to the basics. Take care, everybody.